It looks like Zack Snyder continues to live rent-free in all the haters' minds. He did another Instagram post yesterday, this time of the controversial actress Amber Heard as Mera, even tagging Amber's Instagram. This hasn't gone down well with a great many people. This is my thought process towards Amber and always has been, right? Johnny Depp decided to date a much younger, beautiful woman. Why did he think she was with him? Basically, to get a career in the entertainment industry. And I've always said this. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard during their marriage were just as bad as each other. I wasn't there. You wasn't there. We don't actually know what actually happened. We've got to start separating the actors from the characters they play. And here's the reality of the situation. Amber Heard is a great fucking mirror. Is she going to go down as one of the greatest actresses of all time? No, because she's not. But she was a great mirror. Could there have been better mirrors than Amber Heard? Of course. But Zack decided to cast Amber. And both directed by James Wan and Zack Snyder, she did a really good job. And that's what anyone should really care about. I know you're all on Team Johnny Depp. I can see that. I can see what Johnny Depp went through was terrible. Johnny Depp also had a drinking problem. But Johnny Depp's marriage or the conduct of his ex-wife isn't my fucking problem. And I'm not going to cancel Zack Snyder because he tagged Amber Heard in a post. She was a great Mera. She looked fantastic as Mera. I'm very happy with her casting. I don't give a shit about all the other stuff. It's like people trying to cancel Michael Rosenbaum because he interviewed Alison Mack. People suddenly plucking out of their backsides that he's apparently a Zionist and shit like that. I love him as Lex Luthor. That's why I love Michael Rosenbaum. Great actor, great Lex, probably the best Lex Luthor. That's all I care about. I was obsessed with him as an actor and an artist during the Smallville run. I didn't care what he had for breakfast, who he was having sex with, what bog roll he was using. I couldn't give a shit of the personal element. I don't care about the person. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't give a shit what they go through, their challenges. All I care about is what I'm watching on the screen. Michael Rosenbaum was a great Lex Luthor. Amber Heard was a great Mera. And if they do restore the Snyderverse, I'm fine with that. Zack's not going to stop posting these purposeful posts. He knows exactly what he's doing. These are not random posts. We'll see how it works out. So the other day, the bidders who want to buy Warner Brothers Discovery outright tabled their first bids. There will be a second and final bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. And Access Media claim the decision will be made just before Christmas. So it won't be long for us to find out. But I want to discuss the potential of Netflix buying Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, they have promised WBD and Zaslav that they will honour the cinematic theatrical release window. Now, Ryan Johnson responded to a fan's question about a film he's just made and has been released by Netflix. The fan was frustrated that he couldn't see it in his local cinema because Netflix do these limited releases. Because at the end of the day, Netflix are a streaming service. That's their bread and butter. So I can understand why they do these limited releases. It isn't their fucking problem to save cinema. They were founded on the streaming system. That's what makes them fucking money. But that changes if they buy Warner Brothers Discovery, basically a company that was founded by the Warner Brothers to make films for the theatrical system. So how can they balance theatrical features and streaming television? It's quite simple, really. They do what the old entertainment system used to do. They used to make television for the broadcast television system and then make movies for exclusive theatrical release. That's all Netflix have to do. Make movies for theatrical release. released them in cinemas globally for about 4 to 5, 6 fucking weeks or whatever, then released them exclusively to their streaming platform, Netflix, while making great streaming TV shows exclusively for streaming. It isn't fucking rocket science. And if they buy Warner Brothers Discovery, if their bid is successful, this is what they have to do. Now let's go back to Zack Snyder and let's talk about Grace Randolph's poll. The other day she asked fans if they really want the Snyderverse to be restored. Now the vote was basically, restore the Snyderverse, let Gunn cook, blah, blah, blah. So I think the James Gunn fans and the Restore the Snyderverse kind of portion of the vote was neck and neck. And the Snyderverse, restoring the Snyderverse won by 2%, which is nothing. As I said yesterday, what this tells us is that really the Gunverse should continue and the Snyderverse should be restored. And I think the Gunverse has to be on probation. It has to start making money. It has to show profitability and interest, right? Both on streaming and as part of the theatrical window. That's what it has to do. But that vote and how close it was shows that there are fans of the Gunverse and fans of restoring the Snyderverse. But there's been these stupid arguments between Gun Bros and Snyder Bros, where they're arguing about the vote. Gun Bros going, well, you had to, create bot accounts to do it. Look, none of that fucking matters at the end of the day. It was neck and neck. It wasn't the biggest of victories for restoring the Snyderverse. But what it says is there's passionate Gunn fans and there's passionate Snyder fans. There's no reason why we can't have both. I have very little interest in the DCU, but I have a huge interest in, the Snyderverse DCEU being restored because I loved what Zack was fucking doing. So I would absolutely love to see the restoration of the Snyderverse. But Superman did bring in 616 million. That isn't bad. They spent a lot of money on the movie. A Superman movie should be making over the 6 figure. And that, by the way, goes for Man of Steel. Man of Steel should have made more money. And a Superman film should make more money. That Superman film that Gunn made couldn't make more money because it was so fucking problematic and it was so badly made. I'm sorry, it is. It's not good enough for a Superman movie. But that vote that Grace Randolph put out there shows you that there's passionate Gunn Bros and passionate Snyder Bros. And that's okay. So I feel all that vote, and I don't even know why people care. Grace Randolph is a content creator. She doesn't give a shit about DC or the Snyderverse or the Gunverse. She's got no investment. She's a content creator trying to find something to talk about that gets her up the algorithm. That's all she fucking cares about. She just cares about making fucking money. She even does lives now where she does super chats and things like that. They all do. They're all in it. The high profile YouTubers and content creators are only doing it for the money. Now yours truly isn't here for any money because he isn't making any fucking money off of his content. Either on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat. I just do it because I'm vain and I like the sound of my own fucking voice and I'm passionate about what I talk about. So I'm different to the others. I don't say anything to get attention. I'm not on the trigger train. I'm here because I'm here on my YouTube because I'm passionate about entertainment. That is part of my fucking DNA. But here's the thing. It took New Hollywood 10 years to burn down 100 plus industry, beautiful industry, made by beautiful, intelligent people, a beautiful, ingenious culture. It took them 10 fucking years to burn it all to the ground. And Mr. Gunn is part of the fucking problem. But right now, that vote tells me that the Gunverse is pretty much just as popular as the Snyderverse. But when you judge it on ticket sales, Man of Steel sold quadruple the tickets that James Gunn's Superman did. And look, for me, I wouldn't even dare compare Man of Steel with James Gunn's Superman. Man of Steel is just so different. It's art. It's fucking cinema. I don't even know what James Gunn's Superman is supposed to be. It's just content. It's only made, it's not made because Gunn had a passionate, artistic vision for Superman. He was tasked with launching a cinematic and streaming universe. That's it. There's a difference. Zack Snyder, David Goyer, and Christopher Nolan were making fucking art, and there's the difference. But I don't understand this huge argument about the Grace Randolph vote. Why you're all arguing about this. It makes zero fucking sense. You're all wasting your fucking oxygen as far as I'm concerned. I won't get involved with these fucking toxic debates, so don't pull me into them because I don't fucking care. All I care about is seeing great cinema, great television, and great DC. And I want my favourite character in fiction, Superman, to be represented in an exciting, compelling way. Like Dick Donner did, like Gotham Miller did with Smallville, like they did with the Superman and Lois TV show. I just didn't like James Gunn's Superman, and if you did like it, good luck to you. I respect you, no problem. We can still be mates, right? We can agree to disagree. I'm not here to argue with people. But if you're a gun bro who brings up the death of Zack Snyder's daughter in arguments, you're a fucking tool. There's no need for that. What's your fucking problem? But anyway, the discourse just blows my mind. At the end of the... And, by the way, Grace Randolph did respond to the result of the vote. She didn't seem like a very happy bunny that the Snyderverse, basically, to restore the Snyderverse, won the vote by around 2% or whatever it was. And she goes, well, the Snyderverse, this always happens with the Snyderverse. And she said she doesn't think it will ever be restored. Either she's on the trigger train, she's just saying stuff to trigger people for more views and more visibility and more optics, or she doesn't understand the industry she's talking about. And the other day I gave her a compliment and said, well, she has been in a couple of films, she has worked in Hollywood, so she should know a few things. And sometimes she does genuinely know things and speak sense about the industry. And sometimes, like her take on the Snyderverse being restored, winning the vote that she set up, clearly she didn't like that. She says there's no chance of the Snyderverse being restored. Hun, you don't have a fucking clue. You don't know, right? I don't even know where she is in that game. She clearly loves Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice. She wasn't a big fan of Man of Steel. I think she liked the Snyder Cut. But who fucking knows with Grace? Grace is like Marmite. But she's a typical person from California. She's a typical person who has worked in Hollywood, right? And if you think she's fucking bad, you should try talking to the people who actually successfully work in Hollywood. Fucking insanity. So I wouldn't try getting much sense out of Grace Randolph. She blocked me quite a few years ago. I don't give a shit. I've tried connecting and communicating with her to get me unblocked so I can communicate with her. She's not interested. It doesn't really matter. The problem with Grace is she can give it, but she can't take it. I just hope when it comes to being a lover, she can actually take it. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. These people mean nothing to me. These high-profile content creators mean nothing to me. Their opinions mean fucking nothing to me. They're just there to make money. It isn't about being passionate about film and entertainment and TV. It's about sucking you in to an argument, into a debate, so they can make fucking money. Stop consuming Grace Randolph's shit. Stop consuming John Campion. Stop consuming them because they are part of the fucking problem. They're a bunch of dishonest fucking people who are not passionate about the thing they're fucking talking about. And I'm certainly not going to start arguing and debating with fans about the results of a poll from Grace Randolph. She just did it to get up the algorithm. She's loving this. People keep on commenting on that post. She's loving this. She's getting exactly what she fucking wanted. Stop giving her what she wanted. I don't know if the Snyderverse will be restored, if it can be restored. It seems like Zack Snyder is hinting towards that, but who truly knows? I want it to be restored. I want talented people to make great DC movies, and I want to see a great Superman movie before I fucking die. Please, God, just one great take, one great adaptation of Superman before I lose my mortal coil.